Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something that, well, it powers everything we do. Human motivation.
It really does. And we're going to be looking at it through the work of behavioral economist Dan Ariely. He spent years trying to answer a really basic question. Why do we work?
Exactly. And it's relevant to, everyone. We're all part-time motivators, right?
Sure,
You're trying to get your kids to do homework or a colleague to hit a deadline or even just yourself to go to the gym.
And we all fall back on the same simple assumption.
Do this, get that.
Right, it's transactional. We think a reward money, a gold star, is what drives the engine.
But that's where things get interesting because that simple equation it turns out profoundly wrong. Or at least it's incomplete.
It's way more of a jungle. Or a complex forest of factors, not just a straight road. Yes, of course money matters for survival, but the real drivers are these intangible things.
Like what?
Things like a sense of achievement, happiness, purpose, seeing that you're making progress, even legacy.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack why money actually matters a lot less than we think, how incredibly easy it is to just crush someone's motivation, and why we are often willing to suffer for a sense of purpose.
And it really starts with understanding just how complex this all is. Motivation isn't just about finding pleasure and avoiding pain.
If it were, we'd all just take the easiest path, right?
Always. But we don't. We run marathons, we climb mountains, we do incredibly difficult things, but only if. Only if we feel there's a meaning behind it.
And the author grounds this in a really powerful personal story. He was severely burned as a teenager, spent 3 years in the hospital, and he describes these agonizing treatments like nurses ripping off his bandages every day.
Which is just horrific to imagine.
Horrific. And of course he wanted the pain to stop, but he realized what he craved even more deep down was a sense of control.
He just wanted information.
Yes. Lying there, he wanted to know what the beeps on the machines meant, or when the pain was going to get worse, or when he might get some relief. Anything to feel less like a passive victim.
And that's the universal insight right there. A huge spring of motivation comes from that fight to conquer helplessness, to claim even a tiny piece of control over what's happening to you.
So it's about agency.
It's all about agency. This also brings up a really crucial distinction, the difference between what we call happiness and meaning.
Okay, break that down.
Well, the things that give us deep meaning, think of a hospice worker or someone going through a grueling recovery. They don't necessarily make us happy in that immediate fun in the sun kind of way.
Right, you're talking about hedonic happiness, the pleasure of eating a good meal or watching a funny movie.
Exactly. That's hedonic pleasure. Meaning is different. It's often built through struggle. It's about purpose and value and connecting to something that's bigger than you are.
Which is why we're willing to endure hardship. The meaning we get at the end is worth more than the immediate happiness we give up.
That's why we raise children. It's a perfect example.
So if meaning is this incredible superpower, the scary part is just how fragile it is. How managers or parents or partners can just accidentally crush it.
Oh, it's terrifyingly easy. And there's a great experiment for this, the one with the Lego Bionicles.
Yeah.
It illustrates what's called the Sisyphic condition.
Right, from the myth of Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill forever.
Exactly. The feeling of futility. So in the experiment, they had people build these Lego figures for pay that decreased with each one they built.
And in the meaningful condition, what happened?
The researcher took the finished Bionicle and just placed it under the table. The implication was, we'll disassemble these later. Your work has some temporary value.
But the Sisyphic group?
That was brutal. As soon as a participant finished building one, the researcher took it and right in front of them just dismantled it, smashed it into pieces and put it back in the box.
Oh, that's just soul-crushing.
And the results were so clear. The meaningful group, they built about 11 Bionicles on average before they quit. The Sisyphic group.
I'm guessing a lot fewer.
Only 7. And here's the kicker. Seeing their work destroyed crushed all the internal joy. Even the people who said they loved Legos were no more productive than the people who hated them.
Wow. So futility is the great equalizer. It just flattens everything.
It absolutely does. It reminds you of that real-world story of the software engineers in Seattle.
Oh, right. They spent 2 years on this innovative project, poured their lives into it, and then the CEO just canceled it. Gone.
One of them said it felt like being in a prison movie. Being forced to move rocks from one side of the yard to the other for no reason at all. It's pure, meaningless motion.
Okay, but that's actively destroying work. What about just, ignoring it? Surely that's not as bad.
You would think so. But that brings us to the next study, the letter-finding experiment.
So what was the setup there?
Participants had to find pairs of identical letters on a sheet of paper, again for diminishing pay. And there were 3 conditions. In one, the work was immediately put into a shredder.
Okay, that's the shredded group. Very clear message there.
Very clear. In another, the acknowledged group, the researcher took the paper, looked at it, said, uh-huh, and put it in a stack.
Just, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And in the third group, the ignored condition, the participant just put their finished sheet face down in a pile. The researcher never even glanced at it.
Okay, so obviously the acknowledged group worked the longest, but I'm betting the ignored group did better than the shredded group. I mean, at least their work wasn't destroyed.
That's the logical assumption, and it is completely wrong.
Wait, really?
The acknowledged group kept working until the pay dropped to about 15 cents. They were incredibly persistent. The shredded group stopped at around 29 cents.
Okay. And the ignored group?
They stopped at 27.5 cents.
No way. That's
Yeah.
basically the same as having it shredded.
It's almost identical. The takeaway is just stunning.
Yeah.
Ignoring someone's effort is nearly as demotivating as actively destroying it in front of their face.
But why? I don't get it. It's not a direct insult.
Because that little that tiny glance, it's not just acknowledgement. It's what the author calls human magic. It's a signal that says, you exist. The minutes of your lives that you just spent on this weren't for nothing.
And if you're ignored, the message is that your effort was literally worthless.
Completely worthless. It costs nothing to acknowledge effort, but the cost of not doing it is huge.
All right, let's flip the script. If ignoring work is so toxic, what's the positive side? Let's talk about the power of creation, the IKEA effect.
Ah, yes, the IKEA effect. We've all been there.
You absolutely have. You buy the flat pack dresser, you spend 3 hours with a tiny Allen key, you get frustrated, but when it's finally done, you feel this odd sense of pride.
You love that wobbly chest of drawers more than any other piece of furniture you own.
Right, you have an overfondness for it.
And that's the sweat equity talking. It's a powerful force. Think about the classic story of cake mixes in the 1940s.
They were a flop at first, right?
A total flop. Because they were too easy. All you did was add water. Sales only took off when they made the product harder to use.
They made people add their own eggs and milk?
Exactly. That little bit of extra effort gave the baker a sense of ownership. When someone said, this cake is delicious, they felt like they'd actually earned the compliment.
So a little bit of struggle is actually a key ingredient for attachment.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And they quantified this with the origami experiment. People were asked to build these little paper frogs and cranes.
Novices, right, not experts.
Total novices. So the results weren't great. But when they were asked how much they'd sell their creation for, they valued it 5 times higher than what objective buyers were willing to pay.
That's the builder's bias. They see all the effort and struggle that went into it.
Right, the egocentric bias. The buyers just see a lopsided paper frog.
And get this, in a harder version of the experiment where the instructions were confusing, the origami came out even uglier.
And logically, you'd think they'd value it less.
But they valued it even more. The extra effort, the extra struggle, made them love their flawed creation even more deeply.
It's incredible. And if we feel that way about paper frogs and IKEA furniture,
Right.
imagine the connection a team feels to a project they've bled for. Or, the ultimate example is parents raising children. It's the greatest customization project of all.
Okay, so if meaning and ownership and acknowledgement are the real kings here,
Yep.
what about the one we always default to? What about money? Are big bonuses really the best way to get things done?
Well, this is where the Intel chip factory experiment comes in. And it is a stunner.
Set the scene for us.
They took chip assemblers and on the first day of a work week offered them one of 3 incentives to boost productivity.
What were the options?
A cash bonus of about $30, a voucher for a free pizza, or a simple compliment via text message from their boss that just said, well done. And of course, a control group that got nothing.
Okay, and on day one, I assume they all worked.
They did. On day 1, all 3 incentives, cash, pizza, and the compliment boosted performance by about the same amount compared to the control group. So far, so good.
But then came day 2.
Then came day 2. The group that got the pizza and the group that got the compliment, their performance dipped a bit, but was still better than the control group. The group that got the cash bonus,
It dropped.
it fell off a cliff. Their performance was 13% worse than the people who got no bonus at all.
13% worse. You're saying the bonus actually hurt performance?
It actively harmed it.
Yeah.
For the week, the company paid more money for a 6.5% drop in productivity.
That is just It's mind-blowing what happened.
It's all about norms. When you introduce money, you trigger what we call market norms. It becomes a transaction. I will give you this specific effort for this specific cash.
And the next day, when the cash isn't on the table anymore,
The motivation is gone, the deal is off. But a compliment or a pizza that triggers social norms.
that's the world of goodwill and gratitude and reciprocity. The reason you'd help a friend move for a slice of pizza but not for $5?
Precisely. And when you mix those norms, when you try to pay for something that should be about goodwill, you can actually destroy the goodwill.
Which is why long-term relationships are so critical in a workplace. If you feel like you're in it for the long haul, you operate on social norms. If it feels transactional, you'll give the bare minimum.
Exactly. And that brings us to the ultimate long-term motivator, one that goes beyond our own lives.
Symbolic immortality.
The need to feel like our life had an impact that will last after we're gone.
That's what built the pyramids. And you see it in things like the Tomb of Lady Day, that 2,100-year-old mummy.
Oh, the details are incredible. She was buried in layers of silk in 4 coffins, surrounded by provisions for the afterlife.
A staggering effort to ensure a legacy.
And that deep, deep need to feel that our life mattered. That's what drives us to do big, difficult, self-sacrificing things. We're building something that will outlast us.
So when you boil it all down, what's the most powerful motivator of all?
I think it comes down to connection. You look at someone like Viktor Frankl, reflecting on his time in the concentration camps. He said, "The salvation of man is through love and in love."
It's about something outside of yourself.
It's a perpetual energy source because it's not about a transaction, it's about connection.
So after all this, the big takeaway isn't some simple formula.
Not at all. It's that true success, true motivation comes from nurturing these intangibles. Connection, meaning ownership. That's how you create what is essentially a perpetual motion machine of human dedication.
It's just amazing that we know all this. We know a simple can double commitment. We know that putting in effort makes us love something more and that cash can actually backfire. And yet almost every system we've built in business and schools, it's all based on that old simplistic money for labor model.
It's like we're all still working in the Industrial Revolution.
So here's a final thought for you to take away. The next time you're trying to motivate someone, or even yourself, think about how you can avoid the trap. How do you make sure that your focus on efficiency and metrics doesn't accidentally shred the one thing that truly matters? The deep human need to feel that the effort was worth it.